Pete Hegseth, a decorated combat veteran, a fierce advocate for veterans, and now President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense. But not everyone is on board. Critics and pundits have been quick to attack Hegseth, spreading myths and misconceptions about his qualifications and character. Today, we're breaking down the most common myths about Pete Hegseth and showing you why the critics are wrong. From his military experience to his leadership in the fight for veterans' rights, we'll show you the facts, and why Pete Hegseth just might be the most qualified defense secretary in history. It's time to set the record straight. One of the most ridiculous claims we've heard is that Pete Hegseth lacks military experience. Let's be clear, this couldn't be further from the truth. Hegseth served as an officer in the Army National Guard, deploying multiple times to Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, and Afghanistan. His service earned him the Bronze Star Medal and the Combat Infantryman Badge, prestigious honors that recognize bravery and leadership in combat. This is a man who's led soldiers in some of the most challenging environments imaginable. From overseeing detainee operations at Guantanamo to leading combat patrols in Iraq, Hegseth's first-hand experience gives him a deep understanding of the realities of modern warfare. And let's not forget, the Secretary of Defense doesn't need to be a retired four-star general. In fact, many of the most effective defense secretaries have come from civilian or reserve military backgrounds. What matters is their ability to lead, understand the challenges facing our troops, and make decisions that strengthen America's defense. Pete Hegseth checks every one of those boxes. So, the next time someone says Pete Hegseth doesn't have enough military experience, remind them of the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantryman Badge, and the deployments that shaped his career. It's interesting how critics can't seem to pick a lane. First they say Pete Hegseth doesn't have enough military experience, an absurd claim we've already debunked. Now, they're saying he doesn't have enough government experience to lead the Department of Defense. So, which is it? It's neither. While Pete Hegseth hasn't held a traditional government office, he spent years working at the intersection of policy and military service. As the leader of organizations like Vets for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America, Hegseth has influenced national defense and veterans policy, advocating for better care for our troops and holding government leaders accountable. Through this work, he's gained a deep understanding of how Washington operates, both its strengths and its flaws. And his leadership has led to tangible changes, from improving veterans' care to advancing military reforms. Critics also overlook the fact that the Secretary of Defense isn't required to have years of government experience. Some of the most impactful Secretaries of Defense have come from outside traditional government roles, bringing fresh perspectives and a focus on results. Whether it's on the battlefield or in the policy arena, Pete Hegseth has proven time and again that he has what it takes to lead America's defense. The real question is, why are the critics so eager to ignore the facts? Another baseless accusation thrown at Pete Hegseth is that he holds extremist views. Critics claim his positions are radical, out of touch, or even dangerous. But what do these so-called extremist beliefs actually look like? Pete Hegseth believes in a strong national defense. He's been vocal about the need to focus on combat readiness and ensuring that America's military is prepared to face modern threats. He's raised concerns that some policies and priorities could distract from the military's core mission, protecting our nation. Hegseth also believes in putting America's interests first, prioritizing the safety of our citizens, the strength of our borders, and the security of our troops. He's called for leaders who won't apologize for defending American values, and for a military that isn't bogged down by bureaucracy. So let's ask the real question. Do these sound like extremist views, or do they sound like the beliefs of someone who puts America first? Is it radical to demand a strong, prepared military? Is it dangerous to believe in protecting our troops and focusing on national security? Pete Hegseth's positions aren't extreme, they're principled. They reflect the core values that have kept America strong, safe, and free. Let's talk about the infamous axe-throwing incident, a favorite talking point for critics. Some claim it's evidence of Pete Hegseth's recklessness, but let's break it down. In 2015, during a live segment on Fox and Friends, Hegseth threw an axe at a target as part of a fun demonstration. Unfortunately, the axe missed the target and hit a member of the West Point Hellcats band who was positioned behind the target. Here's what the critics won't tell you. The entire segment was set up by the production team. The drummer was positioned directly behind the target, a safety oversight that should never have happened. The incident wasn't an act of recklessness. It was an unfortunate accident during a live broadcast. Hegseth immediately expressed his regret and concern for the drummer, who thankfully wasn't seriously injured. Both Fox News and the production team reviewed their safety procedures to ensure this kind of mishap wouldn't happen again. If anyone was to blame, it was the production team. But let's be real, bringing up the axe incident as a critique of Hegseth's qualifications is nothing more than a cheap shot. The facts speak for themselves. Pete Hegseth is a leader, a veteran, and an advocate for America's military, not a reckless thrill-seeker. Another misleading claim about Pete Hegseth is that he opposes diversity in the military. Critics paint him as someone against inclusion, but the reality is far different. Hegseth has never opposed diversity in the armed forces. In fact, he recognizes that America's military has always drawn strength from its diversity. What Hegseth does oppose is the idea of prioritizing diversity initiatives over national security. He's raised concerns about policies that shift the military's focus away from readiness, training, and combat effectiveness, policies that could ultimately weaken our armed forces. Hegseth has argued that the military's mission is to fight and win wars, not to become a testing ground for social experiments. He believes that readiness and effectiveness must come first, ensuring that every soldier, sailor, airman, and marine is equipped to do their job in the toughest conditions imaginable. So, does opposing policies that prioritize diversity over national security mean Hegseth opposes diversity itself? Absolutely not. It means he values a military built on merit, discipline, and the ability to defend our nation above all else. One of the most serious accusations leveled against Pete Hegseth is that he's been involved in criminal activities, including allegations of misconduct. The truth is, none of these accusations have been proven. Allegations of sexual misconduct were thoroughly investigated and no charges were ever filed. Hegseth has consistently denied any wrongdoing, and no credible evidence has ever emerged to support these claims. Pete Hegseth is a decorated combat veteran, a proven leader, and an advocate for America's armed forces. The allegations against him are unsubstantiated, and using them as a weapon to discredit his qualifications is both unfair and misleading. The critics may try to smear his reputation, but the facts speak for themselves. Pete Hegseth has dedicated his life to serving this nation and fighting for the people who wear the uniform. That's the record that matters. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions about national security, military leadership, and the people shaping America's future. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Pete Hegseth is the right pick for Secretary of Defense? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.